We could be just hours away from getting off the state's coronavirus watch list, how today's numbers are impacting that goal. Plus,
it's about your responsibilities as an American.
Joe Biden calls for making it mandatory for Americans to wear a mask, the harsh response just in from President Trump. And crews dealing with brush fires here as we get set for a heat wave to arrive.
ABC 10 News at 4 starts now.
San Diego could be off the state's coronavirus watch list as soon as tomorrow. Good afternoon. I'm Steve Atkinson in for Kimberly Hunt. For the second day in a row, we are now green on all 6 of the state metrics. Our ABC 10 News reporter Jennifer Dela Cruz explains what that means for our schools.
It's a step in the right direction for San Diego County. We can come off the state's watch list if we stay green on all 6 state metrics for one more day. After that, we would need to stay off the watch list for 14 consecutive days before students can come back to campus. The biggest metric our county has been working towards is fewer than 100 cases per 100,000 residents. Tuesday, we were in the red, but Wednesday night, we hit the green for the first time since July 3rd. In a press conference Thursday, Supervisor Fletcher warned we still have a lot of improvement to do.
Today represents our second consecutive day of having a case count below the 100 per 100,000 per state guidance. The goal is to have it remain below that. And we have to avoid the temptation or mindset that if tomorrow's numbers are under 100, somehow we feel like we've made it, we're done, we can go back to normal.
Once again, if and when the county gets off the state watch list, we would need to stay off of it for 14 consecutive days for schools to reopen campuses. ABC 10 News reached out to school districts to see how this affects their plans. Escondido Union High School, Cajon Valley, and Grossmont Union High School districts all said they would still need some time after being off the watch list for 14 days to bring students back to campus. San Diego Unified says they're using their own criteria that goes beyond the state standards and calls for rigorous contact tracing before they can reopen in person. Jennifer Dela Cruz, ABC 10 News.
And here is a look at our numbers. The county reported 266 new cases today. That brings our total to 33,600. There were also 7 new deaths, bringing that total to 615. Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden is calling for masks to be mandatory nationwide for at least the next 3 months.
The estimates by the experts are it will save over 40,000 lives in the next 3 months. 40,000 lives. The people act responsibly. And it's not about your rights, it's about your responsibilities as an American.
Biden spoke today after he and Kamala Harris were briefed by public health and economic experts. In the meantime, President Trump spoke about 90 minutes ago and blasted the idea of a mask mandate.
He does not identify what authority the president has to issue such a mandate or how federal law enforcement could possibly enforce it or why we would be stepping on governors throughout our country, many of whom have done a very good job and they know what is needed.
The president says he does support mask wearing, saying, quote, "What do we have to lose?"
The number of unemployment applications fell below 1 million for the first time since the pandemic began. Applications fell to 963,000 last week, according to the Labor Department. However, we're still at high unemployment levels. Before the pandemic, the weekly record was at under 700,000 unemployment applications. Disadvantaged students that didn't have a good or any experience with virtual learning need more than a device and internet access. They need a mentor.
It means something when you have somebody who is an adult that you can trust, who is not only praising you when you are doing well, but getting mad when you are doing something, when you're late to turning something in, where you are not showing up, who is checking in on you. And that is hard work, but that is the necessary new normal that we need to walk into if we are going to truly address these issues of equity.
Ray Saldana is head of communities in schools. The nonprofit has trained site coordinators all over the country in 2,500 Title I schools, working alongside staff, but also with the most vulnerable students. When the pandemic hit, they went virtual and made house calls as well.
What we've recognized is the amount of times we've had to counsel not just the student, but their families through eviction processes or ensuring that they have food. In some cases, running technology, laptop or a cell phone to a student so that they no longer become that statistic within schools' lists of students that can't be found.
The organization is concerned too much of a burden is being placed on schools to meet the need for social and emotional services because of the pandemic. It wants to work with them. Site coordinators are being trained on new monitoring tools for social and emotional learning and trauma. They say 99% of students engage with communities in schools. Coordinators stay in school.
We have some breaking news of a new fire burning in Los Angeles County. The Azusa fire is burning in the foothills in the city of Azusa, just south of the Angeles National Forest. Now, this started about 2.5 hours ago. Firefighters are racing to save those nearby homes, as you can see in the community of Mount Cove. All homes in that community, they have been evacuated. This is a breaking story. We will continue to watch this fire, updating you as we get more information. Also, as of concern, is that brush fire to our north in the Angeles National Forest. The lake fire has burned more than 10,000 acres and is 0% contained. Our ABC 10 News anchor Lindsay Pena spoke to CAL FIRE about the local crews that were sent to help get that fire under control.
We are shooting from pretty far away.
The lake fire started burning near Lake Hughes in the Angeles National Forest Wednesday afternoon and quickly exploded in size.
It is a good reminder that things can escalate quickly.
CAL FIRE Captain Thomas Schutz says a strike team from San Diego headed out just hours after the fire started.
Our wildland engines are off-road engines, which a strike team is 5 engines and a chief to lead them.
Schutz says that doesn't leave San Diego, dealing with our own hot, dry conditions, vulnerable though.
San Diego unit is one of the largest in the state, so we have a lot of stations that we staff up, and we also have a lot of reserve equipment. So we're able to have up to 5 strike teams out of engines and still be able to staff the reserve engines behind, keep our station staffed, keep everything staffed up.
The San Diego CAL FIRE crews are just some of hundreds of firefighters now battling the lake fire. And despite the aggressive attack, containment remains a struggle.
Our fuels are dry, they're very receptive, they're able to take off, and the goal ultimately is try to catch these fires small so they don't grow, because as they grow, the resource need for that just grows exponentially.
It's expected our local crews will be there at least through tomorrow, but that all depends on Mother Nature.
They'll likely be there overnight and working into the morning. Watching some of the footage this morning, they got some moisture out there, which was a huge help.
Lindsay Pena, ABC 10 News.
All right, so far no other San Diego crews have been requested to help fight the lake fire, but that could change if it grows significantly. A couple of small fires in our hot weather kept local firefighters on their toes today. This fire started next to the 163 freeway near the 52. This was around 11:15 this morning. A Caltrans worker grabbed a shovel and kept the embers from blowing across the freeway. Crews from San Diego Fire and Miramar put it out pretty quickly. No word yet what caused it. And in Chula Vista, a small brush fire broke out just after 1:30 at Main and 4th. Just an acre of brush burned. No structures were threatened there. So let's check in now with our meteorologist, Angelica Campos, for a look at how the weather is playing a role in all of this. Angelica.
All right, Steve, well, if you remember, during the winter months, we had all that rain. Now there's green everywhere, and that is a problem because it's open brush. If there's a fire, the conditions are prime right now. We have the temperatures rising. We have even just a little bit of wind averaging 15-20 miles an hour in our county and also to the north. And now we have the scorching heat that's heading our way. An excessive heat warning will go into effect starting tomorrow. Temperatures are in the mid-90s already in Ramona. In Poway, 92 degrees. There it is, our excessive heat warning starting at noon tomorrow for everyone but coastal communities. I'll show you what to expect coming up.
Thank you. All right, in the response to that heat wave, the state is issuing its first flex alert of the summer. That means we're all being asked to conserve as much electricity as possible tomorrow, especially between 3 and 10 p.m. The California Independent System Operator is predicting a lot of people will be running their air conditioning, and that puts extra strain on our power grid. All right, the water in a section of Torrey Pine State Beach is off limits because of a sewage spill there. 1,800 gallons of sewage has contaminated the water on the beach north of Carmel Valley Road. Warning signs will stay up until testing shows the water is once again safe for swimmers and surfers.